Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is a pen that I really think is exciting to look at. It is this pen. This is the Asvine J16 and this is in the polished or bright titanium version. So this is a titanium bodied fountain pen, so metal, but because it's titanium it's not super heavy, but it's got a nice sort of comfortable weight. It is a piston filling pen. It is Asvine, so it is made in China. It's a Chinese brand, but it utilizes a Yovo stainless steel nib. So I have it here with a medium nib. Now, a lot of the early reviews of this pen sort of, for obvious reasons, harped on about the fact that it's got a Yovo nib, and that's a massive selling point and something that, you know, is going to make this pen stand out alongside a lot of its competition. But it is, you know, people are saying, oh, it writes so well. Of course it does. It's a Yovo nib. Yovo make incredibly reliable, consistent nibs, and that is a reason why a brand like Asvine, to take their pens sort of to the next level, might look at Yovo. I think they've used, you know, Bock and things like that in the past. For me, Bock are not of the same standard as Yovo. So to have a beautiful Yovo nib on a pen that is made as well as this is a really big selling point. So let's talk about some pros and cons of this specific pen. We'll do a writing sample, size comparison, all that kind of stuff, and talk about, what I like and don't like. Firstly, this is how the pen comes packaged. It is the simple, very clean Asvine packaging, simple sort of cardboard sleeve here, which is over a plastic box, which opens up to reveal, you know, like the little wrench tool, which is really useful. It's got different size gauges and things for, you know, a few different pens. The pen sort of sits in here. It's got a little bit of information. It's very good, and these little containers are really great because you can use them for different things. They're reusable and it's not wasted, which is great. But the pen is what we're here to look at, so let's look at that. Top of the pen is this domed cap. The clip is put in there, and it is a stiff but very usable clip. I've had no issues with it. The cap swells to the center band that says Asvine, and then on the back J16 there. A little sort of beveled step down onto the barrel, which continues along and starts to taper. Then we get a sort of more like chrome colored ring, and then the end cap, which is the piston turning knob. So all the furniture, the clip, the cap band, and the ring there are made from a sort of like a polished chrome material, and then the rest of the pen is this sort of polished bright titanium. And it is also available in the brushed titanium version, which is a little bit more dull, but I think this looks absolutely stunning. It sort of, the titanium here in this color has almost like an underlying bronzy kind of quality to it, which I really like. It is a screw cap, and the cap comes off in about 1.5 turns. You've got a nice ink window there, which can show you the level of the ink you have in it. As I said, it's a piston filling pen, so the piston mechanism runs up and down in the body by turning the knob. I won't operate it, but you put it into a bottle of ink, submerge the nib in ink, turn that piston knob, the piston will run down, turn the other way, it'll run up and draw ink up into the pen, giving you a pretty decent capacity of ink. Smooth threads, but you can definitely feel them, but they're not sharp. Little sections taper slightly, and a little bit of a flare. And then, as I said, this number 6 Yovo nib and plastic bead. And it's an unbranded Yovo nib, so there's no like big Asvine logo on it or anything like that. It just has a little M on the side there for medium. I really like it. This pen model is incredibly comfortable. As I said, the weight feels nice in the hand. There's not, it's not super heavy, being a metal pen, but because it's titanium, that weight is very comfortable. The pen does post, and it posts relatively securely. It becomes a little bit long, a little bit back weighted, but also you're posting onto the piston turning knob. So if you did turn the cap at all, you are running the risk of activating that piston knob in there, which you don't want to do when the pen is inked. So for me, this is a writing unposted sort of pen, and it's incredibly comfortable. It's a good size in the hand. As I said, it's a nice weight. I don't think anyone's going to have too much trouble with this. And, it's got a number 6 size nib, which is my preference. I prefer that over 5 or 8. I think the number 8 size nib is just a little bit sort of too big for how I hold the pen. Number 6 is pretty much perfect of getting, when I rest my hand on the page from my fingertips to the page with that nib size, that is about perfect for me. So that is the parts and features of this pen. Let's now do a quick size comparison. So I've got it here alongside a Lamy Safari, and you can see it is longer. The J16 from Asvine has been likened to sitting between the 146 and the 149 in terms of size from Mont Blanc. The 146 that is closer probably, and I think there are design elements that definitely resemble, shall we say, the Mont Blanc 146. Just for a comparison here, I've got it alongside the Pilot Custom 823. Now, this isn't the pen it's modeled off. I'm not trying to suggest it is in any way, shape, or form. It is much closer aligned to the Mont Blanc, but in terms of size, this is one that I feel it's like comparable to, but because it's got that sort of titanium body, A, it's a little bit more robust, and B, it just has a little bit sort of more weight in it. But you can see it's a similar sort of size there to the 823. But for the size comparison, here is the Asvine V200, which is one of my favorite Asvine pens, and you can see it's a little longer there than that one as well. Uncapped, all three of these come out around the same length. I should say the V200 has brushed titanium or polished titanium like furniture on it, so there is that sort of connection there between these two pen models. And then posted, if you should want to do that, comes out longer than Safari, but a tiny bit shorter, maybe half a centimetre or a few millimetres shorter there than the V200. These two Asvines don't post as well as, say, the V126 from Asvine, which is more closely related to the Pilot Custom 823, but they do post relatively securely, and it is comfortable. But, as I said, I wouldn't be posting this myself. So what are the specific dimensions here of the Asvine J16? Well, it's 151 millimeters when it is capped, so good length. It's 133 when it's uncapped, which makes it a very, very comfortable, usable length in the hand. There's nothing rubbing on your hand, nice weight, the balance is very good, and with that nib size and the quality of that nib, it's a very comfortable writing experience. Posted, if you decided to do that, it's about 175 millimeters, so it is quite long, and it does back weight considerably. The entire pen weighs 45 grams, 26 in the body and 19 in the cap, so you are putting quite a lot of the pen's weight right there on the end. So for me, that's not super comfortable. The section of the pen is about 11 millimeters around the middle, and around the cap is about 15.5. So, you know, it's a nice size pen. It's not oversized. It's good length. It's got a good girth to it. Very, very, very comfortable in the hand. Now, it is a piston filler, so no cartridges, no converter, nothing like that. Just good old-fashioned bottled ink, which is perfectly fine by me, and the pen has a capacity of about 1.7 to 1.75 milliliters of ink. So you've got, you know, double plus most converters, which gives you a lot of writing. Speaking of writing, this is my Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and today we have the Asvine J16. This has a number 6 Jovo steel nib, and it's in a medium. Now, you can get this in a range of nib sizes. I like my Jovo number 6 mediums, so that's what I got it in. But it is a number 6 Jovo nib. So if you've got, you know, grinds from Franklin Christoph, or you've got, you know, a particular extra fine or whatever you like, you can easily swap it out onto this pen. And with the quality and the build of this pen, you're going to want to have the nib you want on it, because it's a cracking pen. Let's do some right. Oh, I should say the ink here is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku, which is an ink I absolutely love and don't feel I use enough. So I'm going to use it more. Be prepared to see this ink more. It's a really, really great ink. Writing. This pen, it writes flawlessly. It's so beautiful. Like, it is what you would expect from a number 6, you know, Jovo nib. In all directions, it writes smoothly, and is quite wet. Like, no issues there. Reverse writing is smooth-ish, smooth enough. Get a couple of words out, it will dry it after a bit of time, but it does give you a very, very nice fine line. Not a flex nib. You know, not every nib needs to be. This is a great everyday writer. I have an idea of a video I would like to make where I discuss, from my personal perspective as a left-handed writer, as myself, the preference for stiffer nibs. It is my preference. I don't really love soft nibs. I do like sort of stiffer nibs. They, for me, give me the writing experience I like to have. Everyone is different. Quick writing. As you can see, not an issue in the world here. This nib, this pen, writes flawlessly, feels great in the hand, great build quality, great material, great look. It's got a lot going for it. Okay, let's talk pros and cons. Let's start with the cons. Firstly, the pen doesn't post well. It posts onto the piston knob, not great. It doesn't balance well and things like that, and you know, it just becomes a little bit too long. So yeah, if you're someone who needs to post their pens, might not be the pen for you. Also, if you don't like metal sections, this grip section might be just a little bit too slippery for you. I don't have an issue with it, and there is some like light texture to it, so it's not like super smooth and slick, but it's a metal section. So once again, if that's an issue for you, just be aware of it. So many pros here. Let's talk about a couple of things. Firstly, the size. It's a great size pen. It's got a good length, it's got a good girth, it's got a nice weight. It feels really good in the hand. It's got a piston filling mechanism, so no need for cartridges or converter, good capacity. The piston mechanism feels great and works well, no issues whatsoever. It has a Yovo nib. This is a big selling point. This is a big selling point. Yovo nibs, and if it's not this particular nib, Yovo compatible feed and housing and all that, this is going to be one of those things that makes this pen stand out, because it opens up a lot of doors, but also these are really high quality, well-made steel nibs. You know, you could take a nib off a Diplomat Aero and put it on this pen if you wanted to. Absolutely great. Other things, the threads on this. Now, you are threading metal threads into a plastic liner. There's a plastic liner on the inside of this cap. So metal on plastic, a lot of people have an issue with that. I've not had my threads wear out on any pen yet that has this. So, you know, like how much, granted, some of those may only be 5, 6, 7 years old, but I've not had an issue with that yet. But they are incredibly smooth threads, and they lock in well. They feel like in general with the pen, all the tolerances are super high. You know, it just is beautifully crafted and well made. And it's made from a very cool material, titanium. It's strong, it's robust, it's not super heavy. You know, you're getting a metal pen here at 45 grams. You think of something like it weighs less than some of those metal Kaweco Sports. So it's remarkable. This is truly a world-class pen. Yes, this pen is made in China. It is a Chinese pen brand. Asvine is a Chinese pen brand, but a lot of pen brands have their pens made in China. So manufacturing a pen in China isn't necessarily meaning it's going to be of lower quality, because if you're willing to pay for some luxury brands, you are paying for a Chinese-made pen. But what Asvine have done here is they've taken a German-made Yovo nib and heightened the experience even further. This pen, at 5-6 times the price, would still be a great pen. And at this pen's price point, which, let's talk about that now, in Australia, $90 to $115 on places like Amazon, eBay, those kinds of sites. It's $55 to $60 US. And yes, the brushed version is a few dollars more. But let's say this was $70 US. The quality of this pen, that is an absolute bargain. So this is a pen you should consider. If you like metal pens, if you want a well-made, good-sized pen, this is one you should consider. It is a game changer. It may be one of the best Chinese pens I've ever used, hands down. So thank you for watching my review here of the Asvine J16 in the polished or bright titanium. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Thank you to Asvine for supporting my channel by making some of these pens available to me for review. And a big thank you to you, my audience. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button. It all helps the algorithm, helps me to continue to make these videos for you and to have content to share with you. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, there are many ways you can, including the Amazon wishlist linked below, or if there's products you think I should be looking at, or if you'd like to support or sponsor something, let's get in touch. So thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.